हेलो फ्रेंड्स, आज हम लोग बात करने जा रहे हैं सोम के ऊपर। सोम जो है इसको एलिक्सर ऑफ गॉड्स भी कहा जा सकता है। एंड बेसिकली दिस हैज़ नथिंग टू डू विद प्योरली गॉड्स, बट देयर वाज ह्यूमन कंजम्पशन आल्सो in the Vedic period. Was human consumption also, and this was given to the deities in sacrificial rituals. So आज इसी के बारे में बात करते हैं, देखते हैं क्या था इसका रोल एंशियंट वैदिक सोसाइटी में। सबसे पहले आते हैं सोमा इन वैदिक पीरियड में। सोमरस was the only intoxicating drink of the Vedic period. सो बेसिकली वैदिक पीरियड में जैसे आज बहुत सारे अल्टरनेटिव्स हमारे पास हैं इंटॉक्सिकेशन के लिए, वैदिक पीरियड में इतने क्या कहते हैं आपके पास अल्टरनेटिव्स नहीं थे। एंड सोमा वाज द ओनली इंटॉक्सिकेटिंग ड्रिंक। देयर वर मेंशन ऑफ 5 other plants which were said that these plants produce relaxing effects in the means in the intaker, but the soma was the king of all these 5 plants. So it was offered to the gods and as well as consumed by the Aryans, as I said earlier. And to our surprise, there is an entire mandala. नवामंडल जो है ऋग्वेद का, ये पूरी तरीके से सोम के ऊपर लिखा गया है। पूरा नवामंडल 10 मंडल है, मंडल कह सकते हैं, चैप्टर बेसिकली। सो ड्रिंकिंग सोमा प्रोड्यूसेस immortality. Indra and Agni are portrayed as consuming soma in copious quantities. The Vedic ideology, Indra drank large amounts of soma while fighting the serpent demon Vritra. So basically, Indra is known as the biggest drinker of Somras. So he drinks Soma every time and to the utmost. And this portrayal of Indra was carried up to the Puranas. And आज भी हम लोग कोई भी शो देखते हैं, टीवी शो, तो उसमें भी इंद्र को ऐसे ही पोर्ट्रे करते हैं कि जैसे वो जो सोमरस, उसमें भी आप देखते ही होंगे कि इंद्र उतने ही अमाउंट्स में पीता है। सो यहाँ पे एक मेंशन है कि वृत्र को मारने के लिए इंद्र को बहुत बड़ी बड़ी अमाउंट में सोमरस पिलाया गया था। So soma was prepared by crushing the stalks of som plant and then stirring it and filtering it with the help of woolen strainer. Soma was brown or tawny in color and was consumed with milk. So सोमा का जो प्रेपरेशन होता था, ये आपका इसके जो स्टॉक्स होती थी, तने होते थे, उसको क्रश किया जाता था। एंड आई थिंक फ्लैशी प्लांट होता होगा, ये वुडी नहीं होता होगा। एंड देन मिल्क या कहीं कहीं योगर्ट के साथ भी इसका कंजम्पशन मेंशन है। सो यहाँ पे मैंने एक यू कैन सी देयर इज़ अ पेज ऑफ अ बुक, अ हिम टू सोमा. These are the hymns that were dedicated directly to Soma and are taken from the ninth mandala. And we can read here. Um, O Soma, you have been crushed. You flow as a stream to Indra, scattering joy on all sides. You bestow immortal food. So this basically is the preparation account, how Soma was prepared. And here Soma was said to produce immortality. So now moving on the next slide, we can we will now discuss whether Soma was entheogenic or hallucinogenic. So what's the difference between entheogenic and hallucinogenic? These terms are many times used interchangeably, but there's a slight difference. We can say that hallucinogenic are the visuals of the mind, and entheogenic we can say that it's we can compare it to caffeine and adrenaline. So you now I think you would have understand. Hallucinogenic मेरे ख्याल से जब वी सी विजन्स दैट आर नॉट देयर, फॉल्स विजन्स व्हेन वी सी, तो दिस इज़ हेलुसिजेनिक। एंड मेरे ख्याल से हेलुसिजेनिक आप कह सकते हो कि आपका एलएसडी हो गया। And these types of drugs, DMT, LSD, these types of drugs are hallucinogenic. So now moving on, Homa and Soma were said to enhance alertness and awareness. So what is this Homa? HAOMA. So this is the uh, counterpart of Soma, means in Iran. So we will jump onto this in the next slide. And now here I am giving you the basic idea. As we know that Aryans were present in Iran and Aryans were also present in India, and uh, the basic language difference was H and S. So Soma was called Homa in the Iranian provinces. So the effects were enhancing alertness and awareness, and this did not coincide with the consciousness altering effects of an entheogen. This was stated by Harry Falk. So Harry Falk was was a scientist that did research on this soma, and in 1989 he said that the soma was not a entheogen, but rather that it was. He said that it was a kind of hallucinogenic drug, and some other theory states that soma induces divine ecstasy and experiences are remarkably different from hallucinations. So now there are only theories. People say that the effects of soma were similar to that of adrenaline, but these effects were greater in the extent, uh, if compared to adrenaline. But there can be no testing, as the plant or the correct preparation of soma is now extinct. So we can just uh, I think postulate what is it entheogenic or hallucinogenic. Now moving on the next slide, origins of soma. So soma is a Vedic Sanskrit word that literally means distill, extract, or sprinkle. According to Geldner, the word is derived from Indo-Iranian roots. So, to press, soma is the drink prepared by pressing the stalks of the plant. So, the Indo-Iranian word was so. This means to press. So, there is another thing that I want to mention here. Some This was according to Jelna. You can dig deep into it. So इन्होंने कहा कि ये जो सोमा का प्रिपरेशन था, दिस वाज बोरोड बाय बैक्टीरिया मार्जियाना कल्चर. So what was this bacteria margiana culture? So this was the fifth civilization of the world, and this is known as the Oxus civilization. I think it roughly lies between Afghanistan and Iran. So some people say that the preparation of soma was taken by Indo-Aryans, means from the bacteria margiana culture. So Soma is associated with the moon in the late Rig Veda and Middle Vedic period. So here we can see the moon. This is the moon. And in the later and Middle Vedic period, Soma was now was associated with the moon. There is also a story that Soma was originally held captive in a citadel in heaven by the archer Krishnu. A falcon stole Soma, successfully escaping Krishnu, and delivered Soma to Manu, the first sacrificer. Here, the falcon which stole Soma. Uh, there is a common thing which we will find in Ramayana too, that Krishna shot the falcon, and it lost its one wing. So uh, we can correlate this falcon with Jatayu, but that would be too much. So I would not talk on that topic. But this was the story, and then it said that the falcon delivered the soma to Manu. So here this was about the origins of Soma. Now moving on the next slide. Here are the candidates for Soma. This is the long quest, and we haven't found the right plant for Soma. Some people say that Soma was a single plant, and some people say that so there were combination of different plants that prepared the final drink, Soma. So the main two candidates which we would talk about are uh, Sinanchum acidum and ephedra. I would go with ephedra, uh, and there are certain evidences about Sinanchum acidum. This is called somlata, and this plant somlata is still used in som yajna in southern India. And now talking about ephedra, this was used by Parsis of Providence in Iran, and in the previous centuries, this Soma was being transported from Iran to India for the use of Parsis only, not for Indian priests. So it is non-hallucinogenic but has stimulating effects similar to caffeine, as I earlier said. The native name for ephedra in most Indo-Iranian languages of Central Asia is derived from Soma. So this stands a firm place. This has a firm place in the candidates list. Now, why I'm saying this? That because that ephedra does not grow in this Indian soil. Indian climate is not well for ephedra. It grows in the regions Iran, Iraq means generally I would say drier regions like the Middle East. So so now as the Aryans moved to southern parts and they dig deeper into India, this plant was uh, we can say that this was a luxury to get in India because this doesn't grew in India back then. So they moved to alternatives. Some people say that this Somlata plant, which I showed you the photo earlier, this one. So this was used as an alternative, and some people say that they moved to the lotus. There is a lotus, which I have not included. I think I would do a second part two on those things. And some say that they moved to we say bhang means they moved to marijuana basically. So it could be, but the main candidate is ephedra. Ephedra is still being used by Parsis in the Yazd province for Soma, and it coincides with the effects. It's non hallucinogenic, it creates similar effects to caffeine. So, so this was my presentation about Soma, and if you people want, we can do a second presentation in which we would dig more deeper into the candidates for Soma. And thank you for watching.